What's going on, y'all? It's been a while. I've been uploading a lot of videos through my phone, just a video camera, and just to get something off real quickly. You know what I mean? In that type of format. And I'm pretty sure that you guys like the format as of so far because, like, I've shown my face, well, briefly because I have my mask on every time that I'm about to go out somewhere. I always have it on, obviously, but you can see my mouth right here. In case y'all are weird enough to want to know like what it looks like under the mask. But hey, it is what it is. Let's talk about boxing, man, and the year 2020 so far. But first of all, let's get out of the way the breakdown and predictions of Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell and Kazuto Ioka versus Kosei Tanaka. I want to go over the Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell fight. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be tuning in, to this fight because it's happening on Saturday, or yeah, it's happening on the second, a day after New Year's Eve. I mean New Year's Day, obviously, but this fight, man, is very interesting. This is like Garcia's biggest test to date, Ryan Garcia, and we're really gonna figure out like what he's about. And some people say that he's the real deal. Some people say that he's not. You know what I mean? That he's just some type of pretty boy that's trying to pose for like some of his platforms, on social media. But if you look back into his amateur background, man, he has some wins over some people. I think he beat Devin Haney in the amateurs, and Haney is held in high regard, for his days like during the amateurs and stuff. Like within that class of Haney, Shakur, Gervonta Davis, even though he might be in the older part of the class, because like he's a guy that was born in 1994, man. And for somebody that's like around their age, that's pretty old. You know what I mean? That's like in the older classes of that generation. But Ryan Garcia, man, I mean, he has some type of talent. We're not going to ignore that. But to me, man, he hasn't shown like a definitive skill set that sets him apart like from the other fighters. But I do see potential, like in certain assets in his arsenal, like his left hook, obviously, man. Like regardless, like if he steps up in competition and like he doesn't win most of the time, man, that left hook is not the type that you want to get hit with all the time. Let's just say. Otherwise, you're gonna be seeing a lot of doubles of Ryan Garcia, believe it or not. So yeah, man. Like when I see Ryan Garcia, he doesn't really strike me as a guy that's uh fast twitchy all around, like he's still pretty stagnant at times, but if he shows any type of footwork in this fight, that's what I'm looking for, man. Like I'm trying to see like if he shows any type of skill set when facing somebody like Luke Campbell, man, because Luke Campbell, he has a pretty deep pedigree, he was a gold medalist back in 2012 Olympics, if I recall. And Ryan Garcia, man, he's already set himself to like a certain standard, with his training and everything. Like you don't see him, well, in my stratosphere, like I haven't watched him like on his platforms all the time, like I see that he takes videos here and there, but the fact that his family and like his whole team like has consulted with him about changing trainers, like and making sure that he's getting the right and proper training and stuff, by taking him to Mexico with the Reynosos, regardless of what you could think of them as trainers and stuff, like they that kind of shows that they want to try and improve Ryan in some type of a manner, And the thing is, Ryan Garcia understands that a lot is on the line, like in this fight. Like his character as a fighter, or I don't know, like how to put it, like his how do you put it? How do you put it? Like what he really is as a fighter, and then him trying to like to set himself apart from guys like Lopez, Devin Haney, and all of that, because everybody loves to talk about this division. 135 pounds, man. Like it's one of the most popular divisions. I gotta say, man. Like in the entire sport, like people won't stop talking about it. Trust me. Like I've seen it across different platforms and everything. Like they won't stop talking about Ryan Garcia. They won't stop talking about Lopez, Haney, all of them. But most of them are like on the same level, if you ask me, except for somebody like Lopez and Javante Davis, because I think they have the better resumes. We have to give them that, you know what I mean? Regardless of not too many people like them or not, they do have the better resumes, but stylistically, it's all about styles at the end of the day. Can a certain fighter give them problems? And to me, some of those fighters like that don't have the deeper resumes do show the potential to beat those other fighters with the better resume. Like I've argued this countless of times, like in many debates, well, not debates, but discussions, topics, all of that other stuff, like when it comes like to the sport of boxing, like with styles and everything like that. And some people don't even believe the potential, like when you're talking about a certain fighter uh that has a stylistic advantage over them, they just go like, who'd he beat? Who'd he beat? Who'd he beat? You know what I mean? And well, to address that whole notion, who did Tyson Fury beat to uh have him have a chance against Vladimir? Anybody? You know what I mean? Styles make fights at the end of the day. So Ryan Garcia, man, I mean, like if he shows some type of skill set, like in terms of the improvement in his footwork and following up with like better lead ups for that left hook, like a great jab and moving around on the speed a little bit. He doesn't have to be Muhammad Ali, obviously, but at least show some type of skill set, you know what I mean, or fundamentals. Like you don't have to rely on being an athletic fighter all the time. Like you can just rely on the fundamentals at the end of the day. As long as you understand how to cut off the ring and you understand how to use the jab properly at times, and you know how to be defensively responsible without relying on reflexes too much, because that's a major issue that Ryan Garcia has always had, when he was fighting certain opponents and like when he's training on the bags and all that other stuff, like at times he closes his eyes and people would get after him, like a lot of boxing pundits, trainers, all of that. But at the pro level, man, I haven't seen too much of that, as of recently. So I could tell that he's making some type of improvements in the gym, his habits and everything. And it was a good call though, man, like to take him away from America to Mexico, that way he's not surrounded by all these distractions and stuff. Cause like a lot of celebrities love to link up with Ryan Garcia, man. And that's okay, you know what I mean? It's good for him to put his name out there and all of that, but he also needs to balance it out with his craft most of the time, before he could actually get to that level of stardom. And I think he is going to show some type of level of stardom in this fight, believe it or not, because that name is pretty powerful, like in social media and all that other stuff. Like it's different. It's a lot more different nowadays, like in boxing, where compared to like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Well, 10 years ago, like Facebook came onto the scene, but it was mainly a bunch of like Blackberries, flip phones, all of that other stuff. I used to own a Blackberry Curve, believe it or not, back in like 2010. And I didn't even have like a Facebook at the time. I knew about MySpace, but that was when like Facebook started to become like a thing overall. And then like years later, like 3 to 5 years, came like Instagram and all of that other stuff. Like it's a lot more different, and many believe is quote unquote innovative with the way that fighters have promoted themselves. Hold on, real quickly. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Obviously, that was like a weird ass phone call, like from a different state, so I didn't know what it was. But let me set it on silent because this is pretty unprofessional. But then again, this is my channel at the end of the day. I don't have to be professional for anybody. But I do want to make sure that the video quality and all overall production is on point enough for my viewers to view, to listen to this video. So I apologize for that. But as I was saying, man, about social media and the way that fighters have promoted themselves, I mean, it's a fair way to do it, like because like fighters have always depended on promoters, like for many decades, you know what I mean, for generations and all of that. And now, like, there's like a new way to do it, like some fighters don't even need promoters at this point. But and the promoters are still there just in case the fighter needs to get their name out there, like on big networks, like ESPN or PBC, whichever, you know what I mean? Because, well, PBC, it's a strange case with PBC, man, because there are some people that are like promoted under a lot of promoters, but they also have advisors as well because they feel the need that they don't need a promoter. So, hey, that's just politics at the end of the day. But back to the fight. Ryan Garcia, man, Ryan Garcia. In terms of this fight, man, I think Luke Campbell is a very tough guy. Like I've seen him uh, take a lot of shots against Lomachenko and Linares and all of them other opponents that he's had before. And basically, man, like he doesn't give up without a fight. Like this guy doesn't want to get punked at the end of the day by anybody. That's why he gave Lomachenko a lot of problems. He gave Linares a lot of problems. I remember seeing that fight with Linares and Lomachenko, man, because those are some tough fights, man. Like this guy, even though like he provides like a very, very rough style for them, man, like he basically comes up short most of the time. And even though like he's doing a lot of things right, man, like something is not there just to get him over that gap. I've noticed that in a lot of UK fighters, you know what I mean? So if he can rely on his pedigree in this fight against Ryan Garcia, I think he could actually beat Ryan Garcia. You know what I mean? The same way that he won all the way up until getting that gold medal, man, he needs to go back and do something about that. You know what I mean? Like go and focus on the fundamentals and everything, man. Because Ryan Garcia, we don't know like if he's gonna show anything definitive, And Ryan Garcia, man, like he still has to show a lot of stuff, man. And when I look at Luke Campbell, man, like I don't know, man, like if he's not able to do that, man, like I don't know if he could beat Ryan Garcia because I feel like deep down I feel like Ryan Garcia is gonna show something because like I've seen like his training methods, I've seen like his mentality change overall in terms of boxing and his whole philosophy on it. And I look at that a lot when I'm predicting a lot of fights. Some people don't even believe in that. I mean, when you make a prediction, let me say this, like when you make a prediction, everybody always has to mutually believe in what they think is going to win, who they think is going to win. So I don't get when people say that believing is not like a good assessment of predicting the fight when it is a part of predicting the fight at the end of the day, man. Because like you believe that this fighter is going to beat this fighter, you know what I mean? So to me, man, like it's all about a lot of other stuff besides the style too. I mean, I mentioned that constantly, but when you're talking about like the styles and like the mental aspect and everything, that plays a part as well. And like the training methods and who's there in the corner and everything, like to do all of the other stuff besides give instructions, like in order to make the fighter feel like psyched up before the fight. So man, for this fight, man, I'm gonna have to say I think Ryan Garcia might pull it off, man. Ryan Garcia, I think, wants to make a statement. Ryan Garcia has shown that he definitely wants it a lot. Like I mean, he doesn't like this whole thing about being a pretty boy that a lot of people are putting it on him. About. And I think that Ryan Garcia understands that, like, if he can't show anything in this fight, man, he's not going to be trusted throughout his entire career. He's going to be that one guy that a lot of people thought highly of, but turned out to be some type of quote unquote hype job. That's what he doesn't want. And I think that Reynoso, the team Reynoso, like the whole training team, understands how to get him into that mindset of like being a lot more focused on his own foundation as a fighter rather than trying to make him into not trying to make him into, no, like trying to make him into something he's not. So they're just focusing on like tapping them, in terms of like how to polish him overall. So I just think that Ryan Garcia is gonna win a decision, just to make it short and sweet. But that's my opinion on it. Let me know what y'all think about that. But yeah, man, that's basically how I think it's gonna go down. I mean, I could see Luke Campbell like giving Ryan Garcia a rough time, because like he does make it rough and rugged on the inside, and that's where some adversity might be tested, against Ryan Garcia. So we're gonna have to see like what that's about, like how he deals with stuff on the inside. But I'm pretty sure that somebody like Canelo has given him a lot of pointers enough for him to understand like how to deal with those type of situations, And I'm pretty sure that all those sparring sessions that he's watched and like he's absorbed the knowledge of like from all those like fighters from Mexico, like Luis Neri, even Andy Ruiz, everybody that he's been training with in that gym is probably gonna come to mind, every time that Luke wants to make it a tough fight for him, man. Like Ryan Garcia is gonna have to like remember all most of those stuff. He's not gonna remember everything, obviously, but hey, that's my opinion on it. All right, I have returned. But yeah, let's talk about this Ioka versus Tanaka fight. And this fight, man, is very interesting. I think it might be the better fight of this week, And I'm not saying that just because like I'm trying to hype up lower weights and all that, because I've watched both guys, several of their fights. I watched Ioka's fight with Donnie Nietes and the one that he had on HBO. I forgot when he barely came back from his like semi-retirement. If anybody could leave the name in the bottom, or maybe I could do like a quick search. Let me see. Actually, bear with me, y'all. Bear with it. Okay, okay, now I remember. It was with McWilliams Arroyo. I think that was the same person that beat Carlos Cuadras not too well, like around 2017, 2018, because that's when I remember watching all those fights. And he showed a lot of like good skill, you know. Ioka is a very skilled fighter, man. You know, like he understands like at times like how to keep distance and keep it a very disciplined fight, you know. But the thing is, man, like when I saw him with Donny Nietes, that was a very close fight. Like I don't remember like everything about it, man, because like I haven't done too much film study in a while. But that Donny Nietes fight was very close. But um, the thing is, if he uses a lot of his experience, man, as long as like he uses those fights like as a sticking point, I think he could beat Tanaka. You know what I mean? And Tanaka, he's a very good fighter too, man. Like I've seen most of his fights. He has very good footwork. He understands how to use distance. Like he knows how to use his jab. And yeah, he's another guy I haven't watched in a while. But he has like a lot of great punch variety, believe it or not. His hardest fight, I think. Let me try to search that one up too, man, because I don't remember all of their names like that. But there was this one fight besides trying to see. Yeah, Angel Acosta, not that one, but there was another fight. I'm trying to find it. Yeah, Vic Salular, the Filipino fighter, I think. That was like one of his hardest fights that I've seen him in. And he had to go through a lot. You know, this guy has been in a lot of wars, man, like in such an early age. And then obviously he got his orbital eye broken, like his orbital bone broken by Angel Acosta, and that basically hindered, like, well, not hindered him, but you know, like that made him question whether he wanted to retire or not. But he still kept going, you know. So this guy has a lot of willpower, and this is a pretty close fight, man, because he's barely going up in weight to fight Ioka. Because I know that Ioka not too long ago, back in like 2018, when he fought Nick Williams Arroyo, that was like his first fight. And he's already had like 3 or 4 fights in at 115 pounds, you know, since becoming like a 4 division world champion, if I recall that he is one. But Kosei Tanaka, man, is starting to follow into that venture, you know, climbing up divisions. Personally, for me, I wish we could have seen Tanaka stay at 112 pounds so he could fight somebody like Julio Cesar Martinez, man. You know, that's a great fight in itself. But hey, it is what it is, man. Some people have like different frames, like the way that they grow out their bodies and stuff. So like sometimes they can't even make the weight. Maybe that could be the case, but either ways, we still have a good fight right here, you know. So for me, man, just to make it quick, yeah, this is a pretty close fight, man. Because I don't remember all the details of like Ioka's performances, but I do understand that he's a very good boxer, you know. Which is why he ran Donny Nietes into the brink of losing. You know, some people even thought that Filipino fans of Donny Nietes thought that Ioka won that fight, you know. So, and I think he fought Aston Balecite, the one that he knocked out. I think Aston actually went to a draw with Donny Nietes, if I recall. So this guy can't be denied, you know, in terms of his skill set and like what he's capable of doing. So man, I don't know, man. I don't know. Mm, let me think. Tanaka has power, man. Has a lot of will. but Ioka has some experience that can't be denied. He's not that old, you know. He's not like some guy that's like approaching the twilight of his career. So I think I'm gonna pick Ioka, man. On points. Yeah, pretty much. I thought about it, and Ioka kept echoing in my mind, you know. But seeing like a lot of young fighters today, man, like stepping up to all these opponents, I don't know, man. Some of them haven't been doing good in terms of like closing the gap and everything. But I don't know, man. I'm just gonna pick Ioka just because I think he might be the more cautious boxer of the two. But he's not gonna be too cautious enough to for him to not take any risk against that Tanaka, you know? So I'm picking Ioka by I gotta say a split decision. It wouldn't surprise me if they did another fight. If it's very close like that, you know. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that fight. But I also wanted to talk about boxing in 2020 so far, you know, and 2020 as a year in whole. One of the hardest, one of the darkest years, basically, of this era, especially in my lifetime, you know. I mean, some stuff happened in my life, you know, like throughout this entire year, but I'm not gonna moan about it. I'm not gonna discuss like how mad I am or discuss my situations, what's going on, because that's only my concern, not anybody else's. I'm not trying to be edgy or anything like that. That's just how I function, you know? So 2020, man, it's been hard, even like throughout sports, throughout all forms of entertainment, you know, all forms of somebody's income out there, you know, like somebody had like different strains of income, but the primary ones just went down during this whole uh situation with what's going on in the world, you know, and a bunch of other stuff that's like created a snowball effect, you know. So I don't know, man, but I'm hoping that next year can at least open up a lot of places in terms of the boxing and overall entertainment. That way, everybody could start going and stuff and making some money as well. You know, got to make some money nowadays. I don't want it to be like this forever. You know, where everybody's just kept into containment and like everything is limited. You know, like I hate going to the store and seeing that all the products that I want is not there, you know, because everybody is too busy hoarding and stuff. But that's just me, you know, that's my little light opinion on it, you know. So in terms of the boxing, man, like it's been very interesting, you know, in terms of boxing early on in the year, especially what started it with Julian Williams versus Jason Rosario. That was an upset of the year. You know, I kind of had high expectations of J Rock, you know, coming from that win against Jarrett Hurd. But then for that fight to happen all of a sudden, man, I was quite disappointed, you know, because I expected a lot from Julian Williams, like, you know, and the way that he got thrown around like that, man, it almost brought me back memories of when Jamal Charlo did the same thing to him, man, but on a more devastating level, in my opinion, because like he just knocked him down with a jab, and then all of a sudden he eviscerated him with that uppercut. So man, I'm quite uh not well a little bit, man, because I wanted to see Julian Williams in there instead of Jason Rosario against Jamel Charlo, because it'll be like the brother of the guy that gave you your first loss, the twin brother who looks just like him versus you, you know? And then all of a sudden, like you are thinking of the same guy that knocked you out right there, even though it's not him, but you're facing almost like a mental demon, basically, when you see him. Like you're thinking of the same guy, but even though it's not, you're training for like a different cause. So that would have been interesting, like if it had went the other way around for Julian Williams. He just made his defense and then he went on. But that's no taking away from Jason Rosario, because Jason Rosario did it what he could, against Julian Williams and also Jermel Charlo. So that was a major surprise as well. And Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Two, by the way. Yeah, Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder, man, that was probably like the fight, man, that has stirred a lot of controversy, throughout the entire sport. There's a lot of stuff happening around it, like videos being made everywhere, like seeing stuff on my news feed, seeing people revisit this fight all the time, like talking about all the different theories and conspiracies and what truly happened. Just to make it short, man, without getting into it, I just think that we're gonna see the third fight, because at this point, man, like there's so much buildup enough for it to actually happen like this. So yeah, pretty much, I could see 2021 being like that with the third fight, maybe like in maybe the summer. So we'll see, like if everything opens up again and they allow like a whole audience in there, you know what I mean? Just to be uh make a lot more in the gate and everything like that. Because I'm not a guy that crunches up numbers, keep in mind. But I could see that third fight happening. But I'm just wondering if Wilder is gonna focus on the game plan, on like improving what uh he did last time, like or other times, or is he just gonna focus on like relying on the whole idea of the whole situation that happened in the last fight. Like I'm very interested to see how Wilder approaches this fight, and Fury too, to a certain extent, because like Fury's a very erratic character, believe it or not. Like you just never know like what Tyson Fury is gonna do all of a sudden, man. One day he's gonna box this opponent for 12 rounds, but then all of a sudden in the next fight he's just gonna walk somebody down. Or he does both, or he switches southpaw for an entire fight, or he switches orthodox for the next fight, or vice versa, basically, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man, to see like how this fight is approached and where the heavyweight division goes from there, because a lot is relying on this fight. Joshua already got his mandatory out of the way. And there's still some hurdles going on, with the sanctioning bodies, like with the other mandatories and everything for Joshua. But it all depends on like what's going on with Wilder Fury or Fury Wilder, to see like if we're really gonna get that undisputed matchup. I think it's gonna be big either ways, with Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury winning, because like that Joshua Wilder fight already had like story to it, like many years ago before Tyson Fury came back on the scene. And then obviously people understand how big Fury versus Joshua would be like in the UK. So it's a win-win situation for Joshua. As long as Joshua doesn't lose to anybody else, then this fight is going to be very huge. It's going to be one of the biggest fights of the modern day heavyweight era. So I'm just hoping that they open up other places. You know what I mean? Like all the other places, like in the UK and America. Once again, man, like I have to reiterate it, because these fights are so big that you need to bring in the audiences. And I wouldn't mind traveling over to the UK if Fury Joshua actually happened, for undisputed. Or I wouldn't mind traveling like to, let's say, Las Vegas or to the Raiders Stadium or something like that, the new one, just to watch Joshua Wilder or Joshua Wilder in the U. It really doesn't matter to me, man, because I still want to watch an undisputed heavyweight contest, man, in my lifetime. Probably live too, by the way. So as long as an undisputed fight happens, everything is good with me. Preferably with Fury, Joshua, and Wilder being in the equation. Nothing else matters to me. So yeah, pretty much, man. Like I'm about to end this live. For those of you who are gonna watch the playback, leave a like if you want. I mean, I'm just trying to keep myself consistent as much as possible. But for those of you who are subscribed to me, you understand what my situation is like more or less. So I'll pop in every once in a while, and pretty much, man. Let's see like how everything goes. As long as my subscriber base is very healthy, like it's not this reckless type of fan base where all of a sudden like I'm just getting bombarded by a lot of stuff. So yeah, you get the story, you know what I mean? So until next time, guys, pretty much take care. And we'll see like if I could go live for another one. Hopefully I do like a live commentary one of these days, whenever I have time. Or I could hop onto another panel, man, with another channel. Shout out to Jalik the Leader, by the way. Shout out to all the channels that I'm following, D Style, all of them. All these other channels, man, that are doing content, keep on the lookout for them, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's all about just me listening to some boxing talk once in a while, man. I mean, well, not once in a while, but primarily all the time, man. Let's not get into the gossip. Just stay in the zone, no pun intended, and just focus on boxing, you know what I mean? Because like gossip can be very toxic at times, or getting into that world of crunching up numbers. Trust me, guys, I've been in that situation before when I'm talking about boxing, and that was like on another platform years ago. So I'm hoping like this tension ends, you know what I mean? So that's up to you, and that's up to the channels that are out there participating to decide whether they just want to step back and focus on like their own thing. You know what I mean? So I have no say in nothing, man. I'm just another guy that's just watching boxing. You know what I mean? I ain't nobody in this sport besides a viewer. And yeah, pretty much. But anyways, until next time, I'm out. Peace.